Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first episode of the second season of the Phoenix Hour, where we sit and chat with Phoenix viewer developers right here on Rezzed.TV. As you'll see, a lot of things have changed. We've got a new set. We've got new chairs. I have a brand new Bang & Body and outfit just to, go. I look great. Oh, my God. I look fabulous. I love my hair. You really want to know why I'm wearing this? It's because I've not changed since New Year's Eve.
Oh, that's terrible.
I am still recovering. I'm still recovering from New Year's Eve. It was a big New Year's. I did the second life New Year's. I did the real life New Year's. Had a little bit of wine. I took the high road this year. I went and got myself that box of wine from the Walmart. And anyway, so we're excited to be back because we've been away for a little bit and we have missed you. And we are delighted to be back here. And we're going to talk about the amazing plans for 2011. There's a lot of things going on. And we hope that all of you had a wonderful New Year. So, Jessica, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
What is new?
Well, so we'll start with the past. Just a little bit of the past. So Phoenix 818 went out just before Christmas. As most of you know, it was a huge success. We did, however, sort of overload Linen Labs display name servers and caused display names to show up as question mark, question mark, question mark. It would appear that...
Oh, that was you.
That was, yes. Oops, sorry. Yeah, basically, Linen Lab didn't expect there would be that much additional load over the holidays for display names, and we kind of probably shouldn't have released, Phoenix 818 just before the holidays while everybody at Linen Lab was on holidays and there was nobody there to fix it. So that was sort of our screw up, and sorry about that, Linen Lab. But Linen Lab has put some servers behind the display names now and seems to be getting better. And they tell us that they are still working on it. So the next thing on there was our crash rates for 818 is amazing. We've dropped crash rates lower than they've ever been since 1.23 on pretty much any viewer, with the exception of the Linen Lab 2.4. We're basically competing in crash rate on 2.4 by about 0.6% on Phoenix 818. So it's very stable for pretty much everybody. We're really pleased about that. And then we have next on the agenda, we will be blocking 156 and 168 at the end of this month. And we're blocking them because they are absolutely appalling in their crash rates. They are very old, very outdated, and at some point we have to put our foot down and say we're not going to support these builds anymore. So if you are on 156 or 168, please update. We are planning another release of Phoenix. It will be more of a minor update than anything else. We're going to have some bug fixes, mostly. And as for the future of Phoenix Viewer, it is limited, I'm afraid. Linen Lab has stated that within the next 3 to 4 months, they will be disabling search from working in 1X viewers. And they'll be doing that server side. So basically, Phoenix and other viewers that are based on 1X code base, you'll lose the ability to search. And this is they're doing this. I don't want to say that they're doing it for a bad reason. The bottom line is that they have a lot of things in store for Viewer 2, which they can't go forward on until people are on Viewer 2. And right now there's just not enough people on that code base for Linen Lab to move forward. So the intention of shutting down certain functionality in 1X viewers is to help migrate people over to the Viewer 2 code base. And I just got a notice from something. So that's where it's going to start. So we've got 3 or 4 months left on Phoenix, unless you can live without search. Of course, you can search through on the internet for things as well.
Jessica, actually, curiously, are we going to have to change the name of the show to the Firestorm Hour?
Good question.
Really?
Actually, no, because Phoenix is the name of the project, not just the viewer. So we are the Phoenix Viewer Project. And Firestorm is a product of the Phoenix Viewer Project. So Firestorm will be basically labeled as Phoenix Firestorm. As far as the viewer goes. So when people download it, they'll see Phoenix Firestorm.
Fabulous.
Yeah, so, and we will be supporting both viewers up until the very bitter end that Phoenix is no longer functioning on the Linden Lab grid. But we certainly hope that we can get Firestorm up to par before too long, which brings me to Firestorm. So, some people believe that God made everything in 7 days. We are not God.
Are you? Yeah, that's right. It took him 7 days to make me alone.
We are not him. Yeah, we can't do that. So it's going to take us some time. We did an amazing amount of work in 4 months on Phoenix, but we already had a fairly good code base to begin with. And what we did was focused on bug fixes, and we added quite a few features in 7.2.5 and 8.1.8. Firestorm is going to take more than 4 months. Firestorm is going to take maybe a year, maybe 2 years. Firestorm will be an ongoing project, and we can't get everything done at the same time. And while we know that people want, like, can you put this in Firestorm? Can you put that in Firestorm? Yes, we can, but we're not going to do it yet. We have other things we got to do first. Some time ago, I did a poll on what people want most in Firestorm, and that's what our focus is going to be. So let me start with the logo. To my left, everyone else's right, you'll see a little podium with the logo on it. That is the Firestorm logo. It's a little bit different from our Phoenix logo. I love it. It's really well done. The logo was done by Tom Castle, and the tribal part of that, of the eagle, was done by Ivan Hetim. We found the image of the eagle on the internet, of all places, and got his explicit permission to use that, and Tom Castle modified it to what it is now. That is the Firestorm logo. So what do we have in Firestorm now? I hope I don't lose my voice. So far we have nearby chat can be docked into the rest of the communicate window. So you can have, just like in Phoenix, you can have local chat connected to local chat with your group IMs and friend IMs and everything. It's all in one little window. You can do that now. You can now type in the nearby chat window, which you cannot do in Viewer 2. So it basically, as far as the communicate window goes, it functions just like Phoenix does. We even have vertical IM tabs set up in there, and you can choose vertical IM tabs or horizontal by default. We have ported command line features. So sorry about the background noise. Like Phoenix has, you can do DD 50 to set your draw distance at 50. You can do GTH, which stands for go to height 3000, and you will be able to teleport to 3000. That is in Firestorm now. What else? Profiles. One of the biggest complaints about Viewer 2 was that you can't open more than one profile at a time. With Firestorm, you now can. Firestorm opens the profile floaters, the profile windows in separate windows, so you can have more than one floater open at a time. Special thanks to Kitty Bernay for that. We have a separate inventory floater now. Separate from the sidebar, you can have your inventory floater. You can open as many inventory windows as you want now, basically. And it's separate from the sidebar. And it has its own button at the bottom bar now, which is very useful for popping it open instead of having to use the sidebar. We're hoping to have, by the time we do a preview, and we're planning on doing a preview at the end of this month, and by preview I mean this has just begun. It's not even barely started. Please don't hate it yet kind of a release. Like I said, we can only do so much in so much time that we have. But we are hoping to have, by that time, a client AO, a bridge, and the ability to use LL move to target. And we have skins, and let me just get the skins. I've got a few images behind me here, which you can't see yet because I have to go in here and make them non-transparent. Firestorm is now skinnable, and that just undid itself. Which means that the users and us and other people, if they want to work on skins, they now can. We have about 4 or 5 skins. Why does this keep reverting? Sim bug. Oh. Can everybody see that behind me? Right, so we've got skins. On the top, looking at it from the direction you guys are looking at it, top left is the Meta Harper skin, and that's a skin that Aaron has been working on. To the top right is the Firestorm Gray, which is a skin that I've been working on. Below that, the 2 at the bottom are Starlight skins, and they're already in the viewer as well. And I believe they're pretty much done. The top 2 are still in progress. I'm still working on the gray, and Aaron is still working on the Meta Harper skin. We will have other skins. I'm hoping to have other skins in Firestorm by the time we do the preview release, and if I don't have patience, there will be other skins. What else? So, yeah, that's our skins. Pretty cool, huh? And you have a skin selector in the preferences menu now, which you can get to before even logging in. So for your first time getting in, you can get to the login page, Control P, and open up preferences and change the skin, close it, reopen it, and you'll be on the new skin. What else? So we are looking currently into a license for Kakadu, also known as KDU, also known as LLKDU, which is a basically gives the viewer a little bit better performance. We're in communications with Kakadu, the company that owns KDU, and we're working on negotiating prices with them. And if we can get KDU, that will make the performance all that much better.
Now, let's just clarify something briefly, Jessica.
Yep.
If you incorporate that because that's licensed, that can't remain open source, correct?
Right. So Linen Lab has a few requirements for the use of KDU, and those requirements are basically that first of all, we have to have a license to actually distribute KDU, and that's a little bit. It's expensive. We were quoted $5,000 initially. We're negotiating with them, and that's an annual fee that we have to pay them. And in return for that, we can use KDU. We can modify KDU, and we can distribute KDU. Now, the requirements that Linen Lab has is that we, A, have a license to distribute it, and we'll probably have to provide Linen Lab with a copy of that license to prove that we have that. Second of all, we can't distribute it in DLL form. So in a Linen Lab viewer, you'll have .dll, for example. We can't do that. We have to have it linked statically.
How will KDU improve the user experience?
So KDU improves rendering, rezzing, things
textures.
Yeah, textures res faster. There won't be. Some people have problems with Sculpt, not in Phoenix. Sculpt's not rezzing properly or rendering correctly, and this is because Phoenix is using OpenJPEG, and OpenJPEG has bugs, and KDU is just better. In fact, actually, the way KDU works is it actually hides the bugs that OpenJPEG has. So KDU is certainly going to be an improvement, and it's going to depend on the cost, and we're going to do some benchmarking to determine how much advantage there is to using KDU. And if we get to use it, that will be great. That will make Firestorm even faster. The other condition Linen Lab has for us to use KDU is that there was LGPL. So it can only be used in a viewer code based off of LGPL. And our Firestorm is LGPL based. Phoenix is GPL. And so you can't use KDU in a GPL viewer, even if you had a license to use it. And that was the whole thing about, the other viewers having to stop using KDU, including us.
Gives us something to look forward to.
Yeah, it's something to consider anyway. So we're not saying that we're going to use it. We're going to negotiate for pricing. We're going to do some benchmark testing and determine. So it's possible in the future we will have KDU. It's possible we won't for Firestorm. We'll have to see. KDU will not be in Phoenix.
And if you have questions, please, ladies and gentlemen, feel free to send them to me and IM, and we'll get to those in the question and answer session. So,
yes, absolutely.
Ahead,
send your questions to Phelan, because I see everybody asking questions in chat, and we can't answer them right now. The second half of the show, we will answer them. So if you send them to Phelan, we'll get back to those second half of the show. What else about Firestorm? Okay, so we're planning on we'll call it a pre-alpha preview release, and we're planning that near the end of the month. We'll be putting it through beta first, and then we'll be putting it out to our Phoenix Firestorm preview group. If you're not a member of that group and you'd like to try out Firestorm first, join that group. You can get to it from my profile. It's open enrollment, and I just need to let people know, don't expect a miracle when you first log into Firestorm. It needs a lot of work. There's a lot of stuff that we want to do and haven't done yet. And one of the things that I'm anticipating is that people are going to be, we want feedback, don't get me wrong, we want feedback, but a lot of people are going to be stating the obvious. Things that we've already got on our agenda of things to do. And so basically we'll be looking for feedback about the UI, about what we've done with the user interface. That'll be the primary thing. A lot of people are going to say, are you going to have this feature? Can you put that feature? Does it have this feature? Chances are, yes. We want to eventually have all the Phoenix features, or most of the best ones from Phoenix, in Firestorm. And so that's a little warning about the preview build that's going out at the end of this month. Next subject, and again, if you have questions about anything we talk about or anything that we don't talk about today, send them to Phelan, and we'll try to get to them. Support. So I just want to make a reminder. Support people are volunteers. We've talked about this before. We get a lot of people, support deals with a lot of angry people, because generally when something's not working for you, you're angry. And a lot of people take it out on our support people. So this is just a reminder that our support are volunteers. They're not required to help you. They do it because they want to help you. And they do it because they can, and they're not, they don't know everything, you know, they try their best. And so please respect them. Don't give them a hard time if they don't know the answer. Don't give them a hard time if they can't fix your problem. They can fix most things, most of the time. The other thing is that we have, I'll say, upwards of 200,000 users per week on our viewer, unique users. We have 25 volunteer people. So that's a lot of people for 25 people to provide support for. And if you're in our support group and you're not getting a response from our support people, send them an IM, maybe, or file a JIRA. You can get to that from our website. You go to phoenixviewer.com, click on support, and there's a link at the top to file a support ticket. You can file a ticket that way, and they will get to you as soon as they can. Please be patient. They are trying very hard. They do a very hard job, and they do it for free. Which brings me to segue our wiki. So before contacting support, when you can, take a look at our wiki. Our wiki is full of everything you can think of. We've got tutorials, we've got troubleshooting, we've got, you name it, it's there. And the address to our wiki is wiki.phoenixviewer.com. And our sorry about the background noise again, our troubleshooting section, just under the podium here where I was supposed to be standing, I just turned on a little sign there that gives you the address to the troubleshooting section of the wiki. And that is, if somebody in chat here can mention that, and if the camera can focus on that, that is to reach the troubleshooting section. You can also get to the troubleshooting section from wiki.phoenixviewer.com. And in there is all kinds of solutions to all kinds of problems. And in fact, our support people use that. They've first of all documented all that. And generally speaking, that's what they use as a troubleshooting to help you with your issues. And so what else? So we have the wiki, and so please use it. It's really, really good. Next, we have started a new initiative, we'll say, and we're hosting Phoenix 101 classes, and those are going to move up. Right now they're basic classes, and they are covering basically your preferences in Phoenix. A lot of people don't seem to know what everything in the preferences do, and that even goes for some of our devs. There's a lot of stuff in Phoenix, and not all of it everybody knows. So we are Ed Merriman, and some of our other support people have started and will continue to do classes. And we have a page on the wiki, and let me just enable that one. We have a page on the wiki, if I can get this done here. There we go. And that is for our classes. And basically, that's going to change every week. The support people are holding classes at different times of different days in the week and of different weeks, because we want to try to provide support classes or one-on-one educational classes for our users, depending on time zones. Everyone's on a different time zone, and so that will change every week. Right now we are only covering basics, but the plan is in the future to be covering more specific things, more advanced things. For example, a lot of people have asked, what is pre-proc or pre-processing in Phoenix, LSL? Well, we'll have a class for that. The other thing is that, well, there's only a few months left for Phoenix, and so we're going to have to start doing classes for Firestorm as well. And that will begin probably around the time we have an official release. And it's important to note that our preview release is not an official release, and support can't provide support for that preview. It will be public, and people can download it and run it, but if they're having problems, chances are support can't help you. It's just as new to the support people as it is to you guys. And it is a work in progress, and it is ever changing. So that's our classes, and I really hope if you guys haven't made it to one yet, try to make it to one. It's we've had people from all walks of skill level come out of there saying, wow, I learned something. I didn't even think I would learn something. And the classes have been very busy. Our first class we filled the sim. The second class we almost filled the sim, so it's quite popular. And so that's our classes. What else? So I have a shameless plug that I'd like to do here. We're almost at the end of this, and I have a shameless plug. So me and some friends have started up a sandbox, and it's free. And because it's free, and because it's a sandbox, and because it helps people, it's a little less shameless. The sandbox is called Corvega, Corvega. It is drama-free. It is always monitored and administrated, and I would encourage you guys, if you're looking for a place to build or to script without griefers and without drama, this is a great place to go. And finally, a surprise for our next office hour. We've talked about in past office hours that we're forming a type of partnership with another grid. And our next office hour, which is in 2 weeks, we will have a special guest who is a co-owner of that grid. And she will be a guest on the show, and we will announce the grid that we are partnering with. And I won't say, and I won't give any hints. You guys are going to have to wait. It'll be the next office hour. And
that's
otherwise,
like the ultimate tease.
I know, it's a total tease. It's terrible. I almost feel guilty. I feel more guilty about the sandbox thing.
So, Jessica, did you have second thoughts about this time taking our URLs and standing up with a billboard?
Yes. You noticed that I did signs on the ground this time around. I'm not holding up any more signs. No.
I did notice that. She's catching on.
I sort of learned my lesson.
She's catching on.
No more pictures. But
well,
actually, that was a lot of fun. That was a great amount of fun.
people are tremendously excited about the announcements, and we have a boatload of questions to give you. But
I thought we would, so
it's good
that we ended a little bit early.
Yes,
I figure we have a lot of questions. So
tremendous amount of questions. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to a break, ladies and gentlemen, and then we'll be right back after these messages.
Rezzed.TV and Virtual Wrestling Entertainment brings to you live this Friday night at 5 p.m. SLT, VWE Fallout at 5 p.m. SLT this Friday night, the most hard-hitting wrestling action in all of SL. And these are the featured matches.
Welcome back to the Phoenix Hour. I am Phelan Fairchild here with Jessica Simpson, and we're here to talk. I'm sorry, Jessica Lyon.
oh my God! Did you call me Jessica? Oh, that's horrible. I'll never forgive you.
Where did that come from? Littler. Oh God. Anyhow, moving right. I'll tell you what. It was a tough New Year. I still got some left in me.
I guess so.
I had a good time. Jessica Lyon, darling. And we've got a huge amount of questions for you. We've got questions from our audience. We've got questions from the web audience watching via the website at phoenix.rezzed.TV. And we're just going to jump right into it because we've got a lot to barrel through. So we're going to start with Lauren Artville, who wants to know when the Firestorm testing version will be out.
So we are scheduling that, and we are still on schedule as far as we can tell for the end of this month, roughly. I'm not saying it's going to be the very last day of the month. It does have to go through QA first, and so we're not going to give we're not going to give it to our beta team and the preview group at the same time. It needs to go through the beta testers first to make sure that it's stable. The last thing we want to do is give the users, everybody, basically a Firestorm build that is really crashy or is just unacceptable. So it has to pass QA first, and it'll probably sit in QA for a week, maybe 2 weeks, and then it will go out to the preview group. And we intend with Firestorm to do a little bit different than we've done with Phoenix. With Phoenix, we've gone long intervals without releases or betas. And what we intend to do with Firestorm, though, is because there's going to be a lot of work going into it all at the same time. And basically, we're going to do betas and then pre-releases or preview builds based on how much we accomplish in a given amount of time. So if in 2 weeks from our first preview build we've accomplished a significant amount of work that we think it's worth another preview build, I'm shy from saying release because it isn't actually release, it's a preview build, then we'll do another QA with it, and then we'll push it out to the preview build or preview group. So we'll have more frequent releases with Firestorm. And that should be starting around the end of the month, maybe a little bit into February.
Excellent. Absolutely excellent. So Lily Densmith wants to know, will Firestorm have a radar function similar to Phoenix?
Actually, that is one of our... Okay, so it's one of those things that people can't live without. And so it is definitely, it's the top of the list of things people want in the viewer. And again, it's one of those things even I can't live without. So it's going to be a focus. However, we don't know that we're going to have it in the first, second, or third preview builds. It needs to be rewritten from scratch, and it is not a small amount of code. So radar is going to be one of the priorities, we'll say, in the way features go. Right now, we've focused mainly on UI changes and improving the user interface. The first preview is going to reflect user interface changes more than features.
Okay, and Sophia Crystal says, if the Firestorm group gets to use KDU, how are you going to raise money for it?
Well, we already earn income from advertising on our website. Many people might notice if you scroll down to the bottom of our pages that we have 3 banner ads there. We don't control what content is on those banners, although it is PG. And people that click those banners generate income for us. And basically, our server costs are about $60 a month, and we generate a little bit more than that every month from the ads. And so we don't ask for money. We don't need to ask for money, and hopefully we'll be able to continue funding what we do through AdSense.
Okay. Angelique Mantropa says, after Firestorm release, will there be any reason to keep QuickTime on my computer if it's never used for anything else but SL Media?
Well, if you want to have media, you'd probably want to have it on your computer. QuickTime, I don't particularly like QuickTime, but it's not hurting your computer having it, and all Second Life viewers use QuickTime, so you're going to want to keep QuickTime.
Okay, Bald Traveler Shan would like to know, will Firestorm have the ability to transfer files from one person to another? He gives an example saying, like, I want to give a friend a PDF file, so I just grab it and drop it on them. Are you expanding what's possible in terms of file format?
No, that's not something we can do, because that's something that's limited to the server. The servers don't support PDF, for example, and so that there'd be nothing. I mean, we could do all the coding in the world. It's just not going to work. You're still limited to what the Linen Lab Asset servers allow, and that's clothing types, objects, note cards, scripts, things like that.
Okay.
However, let me just modify that a little bit. There will be a web on a prim or shared media, and while I don't necessarily agree with its current implementation because of its security inefficiencies, you will have media on a prim in Firestorm. We have plans on fixing that to make it a little bit more secure.
Now, is media on a prim dependent on QuickTime?
No, I don't believe so, no. Lenny could probably correct me if I'm wrong. He's in the audience, but I don't believe so. It basically uses the viewer's web browser to view that media.
Okay. Depends on if you're watching a video, Lenny says.
Yeah, if it's a video on the prim, then obviously you need QuickTime to watch that video.
So there's no reason.
It's no different than seeing a web page.
Sure. So there's no reason to toss QuickTime anybody.
No, you want to keep QuickTime.
Absolutely. Okay. So Crim Mip says, will transparency of the floaters be adjustable from within Firestorm from totally opaque to essentially almost totally transparent on an individual basis?
Absolutely. In fact, not on an individual basis, though. So you have 2 transparency settings for the floaters. You can set the active or in focus transparency settings. So if you click on the chat floater, for example, then that is in focus. And you can set the transparency level for that. And you can set the transparency level for floaters that are out of focus. So for example, if I'm clicking on the communicate window, my inventory window is not in focus, and therefore it will take that inactive or unfocused floater transparency. Unfortunately, you can't change that for individual floaters at this time. It basically works throughout all the floaters.
Okay. We have a note from Spruce Canning who says, what can we expect from Firestorm with the inclusion of the KDU files? Do you want to expound on that a little bit on top of what we've already discussed about it?
I think you would expect, or you can expect, better performance, possibly. Again, we haven't benchmarked it yet. We'll be doing some tweaking to OpenJPEG, which is what we're using in Firestorm right now, and we'll be doing some benchmark tests to determine how much of an advantage KDE will have over OpenJPEG in Firestorm specifically. And if there's a big enough advantage, then and we can afford the license, then we'll probably go down that route. What you can expect from it if we use KDU is better performance, faster rezzing.
That sounds exciting. Okay, Roland Falworth wants to know says the thing that I hate about Viewer 2 is in the format with the boxes and stuff. I love Phoenix IM format. I see in the pics they use Viewer 2. Is this what we can expect from Firestorm?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Sure. The thing I hate about Viewer 2 is the format with the boxes. I'm presuming that he means like the inventory window, things like the floaters. And the stuff I love about Phoenix IM format, I see in the pics they use Viewer 2. Is this what we can expect with Firestorm? So does the photographs that are up there, is that what represents the
instant message boxes?
Format?
Right.
Yes.
That is. We've done quite a bit already, especially to the communicate windows, and especially to nearby chat, and giving you the ability to actually type in the nearby chat window and dock it to the communicate window. So it behaves just like 1X viewers, but it is formatted slightly differently, and we are somewhat limited to what we can do. I'll say this, Viewer 2 was not made to be skinned. In other words, it's not made in such a way that it's very scalable. And I say this because I know this because I've been working on a skin, and it's very difficult to change many things in Viewer 2. So we're breaking new ground by skinning or doing skins for Firestorm. And there's a lot of limitations that we're up against. So I can't say for sure that we can change it as far as the layout and size and shape. You know, there's some dead space in an IM window in Viewer 2, for example, above where you type or above the text chat, and there's dead space there for buttons, for profile buttons and things like that. We're limited to what we can do. For now, it's going to go out pretty much as you saw in those pictures behind me. And we'll have other skin color changes, and possibly down the road we'll be able to do more with the skin. But as far as I've been able to tell this far, you can't do much in the shape or overall design of the floaters.
Chelsea Marie Noel says, will we still have the option to use the silver skin?
Actually, it's funny you mention that. So keep in mind, Viewer 2 doesn't come with skins. And in the 1X viewers, the skins that were there was the silver skin and the default, which was a blue skin. And those were made by Linen Lab. All the other skins that you find in Phoenix Viewer are skins made by other people, not Linen Lab. Viewer 2 doesn't come with any skins. Viewer 2 comes with the skin that it comes with, and that's black. Everything is black. And a lot of people have problems reading the text because if you have poor eyes, personally I like the black, but if you have poor eyes and you can't see the white text on the black, it's a problem for people, and that's why we're working on creating some skin and color variations. Currently there is not a silver skin. I did try playing with making a silver colored kind of a skin for Firestorm last night without much success. I will try again. I think you can expect that within the next 6 months or so, there's going to be a lot of people, now that we've made Firestorm skinnable, there's going to be a lot of people taking on projects on their own for making skins just like they did with the 1X viewers.
Great. Will those be, will people be able to download them to their computer, or will they come packaged with the Firestorm viewer?
Well, right now we have a skin selector. In Phoenix, you can download the skins, so it doesn't come shipped with the skins. In Firestorm, as it stands right now, we don't have a skin downloader, so it gets shipped with the skins that are in it, basically. In the future, we'd like to move over to a downloadable, being able to download skins, and then people can submit skins to us, and we can upload them to our server, for example, and it becomes available to everyone instantly as soon as it's there, whereas when we ship skins with a viewer, for you to get a new skin, you have to get a new viewer, and we have to put that skin in the viewer. So down the road, we'd like to be able to do downloadable skins.
Fantastic. Okay, so Sean Martin says, since the organization of the Phoenix UR Project Incorporated is a nonprofit organization and a KDU license would be around $5,000 annual, would the renewal license be subject to user donations, or is there another source of support for it? Now, you've already mentioned that there were banner ads at the bottom of the Phoenix UR website. So are you open to taking independent donations?
So the price that was quoted to us by Kakadu is based on, they base their pricing on the amount of people that are in the organization. And in our case, we have 15 developers, we have 25 support people. So basically that price, the initial price they gave us is an initial price, which is open to negotiation. And we are negotiating with them on that price. And we're hoping, at that price, we're probably not going to be able to afford it. If we can get the price lowered significantly, then we can afford it. Depending on that price, I can't predict the future, and I don't know how much we can go down in the price with Kakadu. But they've been made aware that we are a completely volunteer basis. Although we are incorporated, nobody gets paid. And we don't ask for money from our users. And so it's possible that it depends what it is. It depends what the price is. It's hard for me to give an answer on that right now.
So I remember in our first, actually one of our first shows, you introduced us to the donation Firebird.
Right, we were taking donations, yeah.
Is that something that the team at Phoenix has decided to cease?
Well, to be honest, taking donations has always made me feel a little bit uncomfortable, along with most of our other devs too. We don't want to ask you for money. One of our founding principles is that we provide you a viewer at no cost to you. So we don't like actually asking for money. Now that Google, at the time we didn't have the money to cover our initial costs, our startup costs. And that number was significant. It wasn't cheap. So we kind of had no choice but to ask for donations. But at this point in time, we're earning enough to keep us afloat with Google AdSense. And so we do have the bird does still exist, simply because I'm not willing to shut it down completely, but we're not asking for donations anymore.
Okay, fair enough. Draco Boa says, will Firestorm still have RLV implemented in it like Phoenix has?
Already does.
It already does. How's that? Okay. That was a quick and easy answer, wasn't it? Hello, there you go. All right, Kayla Khan. Oh, Kayla Khan, I kind of like that. If KDU is going to be so much better, and if you don't have all the money to finance it, well, okay, we've kind of already discussed this, and we know that, right now it seems that if you want to help Phoenix, go and click on the banner ads. Go to the website, click on the banner ads.
If you click it once a day. Don't click it 1,000 times. But if you want to help us out, click an ad, and that's it.
Absolutely. For all that you get in return, you can go to the website and click on an ad.
Now, we're not supposed to actually ask for people to click the ads. Google has stated that quite clearly. So we're not asking you to click the ads. But if you click the ad, it helps.
We're sending subliminal messages, but we aren't directly asking.
Yes, subliminal. That's it.
Yes. All right. So Sweet Cheeks 54, who's a return audience member, it's good to see her here, said, can the skins from Phoenix be put with Firestorm?
No, it's totally, totally different. It's like trying to it's like trying to take wallpaper off your wall and put it in a different house. It doesn't work at all. It can't be done. The skins have to be created from scratch. It's a totally different skinning method, and no, it can't be done.
All right, Lady Hawk One watching via the web wants to know if Firestorm will have an inventory like Phoenix.
I'm not quite sure I understand that. I mean, the inventory is already like Phoenix. It has inventory links and multi-attachments, if that's what the question is about. It has, it's separatable from the sidebar. In fact, like I mentioned earlier, we do have a on its own inventory floater, just like in Phoenix. So I think the answer is yes, if I understand the question right.
Okay, I think there seems to be a lot of concern. Of course, there's always been trepidation about gravitating from viewer 1.x interface to viewer 2. I know that a lot of people have resistance to what we know as the viewer 2 interface. What steps have you guys taken to familiarize your community better with the viewer 2 interface? Draw some parallels for me. How is your Firestorm viewer different than the traditional viewer 2 that we know from Linden Lab?
Working on the floaters is a little bit difficult in viewer 2. The way it's coded, for example, you can't close floaters in viewer 2, at least not as it is right now. We're working on that. So one of the things that you can do with Firestorm, which you can also do with 2.4, and probably even earlier versions of Viewer 2, I'm not sure, but in Viewer 2 you can undock things from the sidebar. People hate the sidebar. Some people love it. Most people hate it. When you open up the sidebar, there's a little undock button that you can click, and that turns it into a floater window. And from there, you can then minimize that floater window into a little tab. And in fact, one of the pictures behind me, if you look at the gray skin at the top right, you'll see down at the bottom left-hand corner is a bunch of little tabs that say Home, Places, Profile, People, Appearance, and so on. Basically, you'll notice that there is no sidebar in that picture, and that's because I've undocked all the little elements of that sidebar and put them into little tabs, and I've moved them down to the bottom left of my screen. That's how I like my UI setup. I personally do not like the sidebar. And I have, you'll see on the right hand side, a conventional View 1X style inventory window. So one of the things that we've got already going for us with the help of Linden Lab is being able to undock the sidebar. Further to that, we now have the ability to open more than one profile at a time, for example. In Viewer 2, you can only have one profile open. So if you open somebody's profile and then right-click on someone else and open their profile, it replaces the first profile. What we have, courtesy of Kitty Barnett, one of our devs, is now the ability to open up multiple profile windows. You can open up multiple inventory windows. We have other plans on doing the same thing to some of the other floaters as well. But again, we can only do so much in the amount of time that we have, and it's not very friendly code to work with. Something we'd like to do is set up those little tabs that you see at the bottom left of that picture in the form of buttons on the bottom of the window, next to the build and inventory buttons and so on. And that would make it kind of more 1.x-ish, if possible. One of the things that we've discovered is that if you try to actually close one of those floaters, it results in the viewer itself closing in not such a friendly way. So it needs a lot of work, and we're doing it, but we can only do so much at a time. In time, we like to try to make it as hybrid. We want to make it look familiar to the 1X viewer users as much as possible, especially initially. Once you start getting used to it, you start to get used to it. I'm getting used to it. And with the new skin changes that we've done, with the ability to chat in local chat now without having to go down in the bottom of your screen to type in it and go up at the top to read it, is great. So we've made some big improvements in the communications in the viewer itself. And we have a lot of plans. I mean, we have a lot of things we plan to do and are going to do. We just can't get to them yet. We can only do so much.
You're currently in Firestorm beta, correct?
Actually, I'm logged into Phoenix right now. I was logged into Firestorm a few minutes, before the show.
Okay, so when you enter the Firestorm beta, when it goes into the beta process, what do you expect to glean a lot and integrate a lot of suggestions that you get from the user community? I'm sure many of whom will offer incredibly sound advice in terms of what they feel works or what might be challenging, or are you pretty married to a very specific structure? I mean, obviously within your limitations.
One of the things that I think made Phoenix so popular is that we listen to our users, and that's not going to change with Firestorm. That will never change. That's the way this project works, and we will certainly be asking for input from users about Firestorm. I expect that we will be overwhelmed at first, and some people may feel that they're not being heard. There's a lot of things that we'd like to do that just can't be done. And so a lot of people would say, I'd like to have this, I'd like to have that. There's some things we just can't do. And so if we don't do it, it doesn't mean that we don't think it's a good idea or we're not listening to you. It means we just can't do it. The viewer just is not made that way. But yes, absolutely, we always listen to our users. And we look forward to the first previews, and we look forward to the feedback that we get from them. I expect it will be very mixed. I think we'll have a lot of people who will hate it, and I think we'll have a lot of people who will love it, and we'll have a lot of people in between. And it's going to be, I expect some drama in the preview group, because you're going to have people from all different sides kind of arguing their points, and so it should be interesting.
Most definitely. It seems a lot of people are really there's a demographic that's really enthusiastic, and there's a demographic that are absolutely terrified. Can I just be honest with you? I'm one of those that's absolutely terrified. Not because I'm resistant to change, but it's a whole new process of learning. But you know what? There's many good things developing out of this too. Along with Linden Lab, and somebody actually asked a question. I'm just named Pee-wee. Hello, Pee-wee, from the web. Says, how about the new Linden profile system now that is on the grid? Will you be somehow integrating the new Linden Lab profile system? There's suggestions that the profile system that Linden Lab has created is going to have different badges and icons and things like that, that sort of show up a resident's status, if you will. Will you be integrating that potentially into Firestorm?
Okay, so the reality is we probably won't have a choice. I'll leave my personal opinion about web-based profiles to myself, but I think we get the idea. We're not quite sure yet. We haven't had a dev meeting since that came out live on the server, and that's one of the things that we're going to need to talk about as a team, and determine what we're going to do about it. I'm not too impressed, but I'll leave it at that.
That's good. Okay, so Jessica, 2011. Let's talk about that. We've got a whole year ahead of you and the Phoenix development team. What do you really want to achieve this year within your development team with regards to Firestorm?
You know what I'd really like to achieve this year? I would like to achieve getting people on Viewer 2 codebase and liking it. That would be great. It would help Linden Lab, certainly. It would help third-party viewers, certainly, if users moved over to Viewer 2, because again, people that aren't on Viewer 2 are on third-party viewers, or Linden Lab 1.23, which they're going to stop supporting soon. And so in many ways, it's third-party viewers that are holding Linden Lab back from pushing out new features and new things that could be really cool, unlike some things like web-based profiles. But So I think if we were to set a goal, it would be to get people on the Viewer 2 code base and like it. Now, whether that's on Linden Lab Viewer or whether that's on Firestorm, as long as we can achieve that goal, that would be great.
Well, you guys are always the first out of the gate when it comes to sort of creating an experience that people feel more intuitive. So I have no doubt in my mind that the Phoenix development team will be able to somehow create a dynamic between the user and the Viewer 2. I know that it's been a challenge for you all to try to overcome some of the hurdles in terms of the interface and the coding and what was allowed and what was disallowed. And I know there was some concern there. You weren't sure if you were going to be able to integrate mesh or how that was going to function. You know, curiously, let's just briefly touch on before we have to go, because we'll only have 5 minutes, but I want to revisit mesh just briefly. We had a whole show where we discussed mesh, and at that point it was uncertain whether mesh was going to be viewable in third-party viewers. Now this to me seems a lot more anticipation for mesh, and it's sort of drumming up. We didn't get it by the first of the year like many people had wanted, but it still looks like it's on the horizon. Will Firestorm have access to mesh? Will they be able to see mesh? Will they be able to develop mesh? This seems to be something that's been changing back and forth.
So Firestorm, you will be able to see mesh on Firestorm. Now, as for uploading mesh, we're still waiting on Linden Lab to write a wrapper for being able to upload mesh through a third-party viewer. So that's still in the air. Linden Lab hasn't given us any updates yet on that, nor have they really given us much of a time frame for mesh. It's still very much work in progress, just like Firestorm is, and it may still be a while before it gets here. Another thing to consider is that with well over half the population in Second Life not on Viewer 2 codebase, Linden Lab can't push out mesh, because that means well over half, I'd say 2/3 of the population won't see it. And so that's another reason why it's so important that people move over to Viewer 2. It's an example of one of those features that Linden Lab wants to push out, but they can't, because it will just be broken until people are on a code base that can actually support it. So yes, Firestorm, you will be able to see mesh. We're not quite sure yet on uploading.
Okay, so that's something that we have to keep our fingers crossed on and watch closely, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Okay, so, well, Jessica, I have to tell you, I'm so delighted to be back with you. I've not seen you since we left each other during our last episode, which was, 6 weeks ago? And I'm delighted to have all of our audience with us today. I hope everybody had a delightful new year. Jessica, it looks like there's so much to look forward to in the coming year on
a lot
Firestorm and the entire Phoenix development team. And you know what? I got to tell you, I'm going to be here next week just to hear about your big announcement. So, and you, ladies and gentlemen, you will want to be here too. All right, so on behalf of Rezzed.TV and for the Phoenix Viewer, I am Phelan Fairchild, and this is Jessica Lyon.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.